So why would Nascour be apologizing to someone if he's the boss? Find out on this episode of Pokemon Colosseum. Well, that's irrelevant at this point. We defeated Nascour in the last episode. So this episode's probably just going to be arresting him. And if you do know what's up, like I do, you'll just see what happens. Oh look, isn't that a familiar tune? Hello there, Mr. Mayor. You finally come around to congratulate us for completing this task of defeating Cipher. Funny enough, we haven't seen you all game. So I'm glad you were at least able to come around and see that final battle we had. Huh? That's a weird way to word it, Mr. Mayor. Really? Obviously Mr. Mayor is here to congratulate us on a victory, right? Or he has something else up his sleeve. No, I am not playing dumb. I am just playing the anti-spoiler games. To prove it at this line, I'm not gonna go, oh! I'm just gonna go, yep! Plot twist. If you haven't played the game before. I'm pretty sure a lot of people fell for this, though. Mr. Mayor is Evis, the true syndicate of Cipher, and you can see now by the fact that he looks about 10 times more evil than he did before. Cause obviously you have to look menacing in order to actually be evil. If you look all good and innocent, you are totally not evil. Unless some sort of plot twist reveals you to be evil, then, as soon as the plot twist comes into play, you must turn 10 times more evil in your style. Otherwise you are not really the evilest of evil people. So, Colosseum may not be breaking any revolutionary ground with how they treat their antagonists. But hey, this is still an interesting plot twist, and I think I'll admit that I fell for it. Heck, Nintendo Power even played along with it. In their strategy guide, they put a giant question mark face over Evis, so you wouldn't be able to tell who he was until you actually got to this point in the game. That's one thing I will give Colosseum over XD. I do feel like they have a better plot twist. It may not have been laid out in advance, but in a sense, that is what makes it more of a plot twist. I'm not going to argue that makes it better or worse than how they handle it in Pokemon XD, cause that's a matter of opinion. But I am going to claim that it would be a lot harder to see this coming than it was in Pokemon XD. I'm not going to go into the details in case I haven't spoiled enough of Pokemon XD in this playthrough. Now, if someone did their homework, like someone never does before actually doing battles, he would have realized that leaving Code Red in on the Slacking was a bad idea. But just seeing Slacking on the field is like, Operation, get rid of that thing as quick as you can, because I don't need to do research to know how much of a threat Slacking can be. Sure, it has a Tron ability, which makes it unable to attack every other turn, but it's got a freaking good attack stat, and it's going to show it off quite nicely with that super effective Earthquake. Good enough for warning you all in advance, there's going to be no shame with this fight. Anything can go, and everything will go. It is the final battle. No need to worry about not using the revival herbs, or the potions, or anything else. Gonna go all out on this guy, because man, he could certainly put up a fight if you're not prepared. That Slacking as it is a good example why. You might be thinking, Jackie K, this guy isn't so bad, especially since that Pokemon can only attack every other turn. Well, sir, or madam, there is a Pokemon that has the ability to swap around that Slacking's abilities. And guess what? If that trunk goes away because of the skill swapping swap, it can do the skill swapping swap to one of your Pokemon, so it can only move every other turn. Granted, you need to do a lot of sitting around waiting for it to set up in order to get that much of an unfortunate event to occur to you. But his Pokemon are pretty bulky enough to let that happen if you're not going all out. Which is why, if you see a Psychic type on the field that has the possibility of learning Skill Swap, you get right in there, eliminating either the Slacking or that Pokemon right away. Because dealing with a Slacking that can move every turn is not fun. Look at that! That was a nice Crush Claw, not even super effective damage, and Sahara goes BOMB! I mean, sure, Sahara has proven not to be the most bulky Pokemon on my team, but it's not a Puffluck unbulky. And this is just the slacking. I haven't even got around to addressing the Sailman's in the room. Or the fact that he just used an X attack on both of his Pokemon a couple turns ago. Or the fact that he still has 4 other Pokemon. None of them you should take lightly. And I have already said that you shouldn't take Nascour lightly. Then again, this is final boss material we're dealing with here. It'd be a bit disappointing if his Pokemon weren't able to wreck your cause. Level up, nice. I will take every opportunity for Dark Knight to become more bulky. Hello there, Scizor. I know about you. You're not the most popular Pokemon I've used, but I have used you before. And you are quite nice. Granted, a Fire-type move of any sort will wreck your cause. But alas, I'm pretty sure Cold Red has fainted. I do have the means to revive him, and I'll probably end up doing that while the sun's still out. But first, let's see if we can do some work to this slacking. I'll just keep the Scizor confused in the meantime, because it is a pretty good attacker. So anything that's a good attacker probably wouldn't appreciate the confusion, if it gets incredibly unlucky. High jump kick away, and no, that didn't quite work out as well. Slacking, you are a bit more bulky than I was expecting. Okay, that's a bit of a lie, but I would have gone for high jump kick anyways, and it would have been nice to take it out. Oh, no hurry yourself in confusion. On the bright side, now getting hurt in confusion is going to do even more damage. Maybe I'm crunching a little too much on the confusion, but hey, this is the final battle against an AI opponent. I have no mercy for AI. I may show mercy every now and then for my fellow man, but not for the machine. The machine is just a punching bag for me. No need to hold back on it. The machine isn't going to complain about confusion hacks. The machine's not going to complain about parafusion combined with Senior Grace. The machine can't complain about any of that. It's just a machine. It's artificially controlled intelligence. It does not have emotions. Although that silver win sucked. See, I can say that because I'm a person. If I was fighting someone else and I was that Scizor, they would say that to me. But this is not involving man. This is a battle between a single man versus a single machine. A man would complain about the items I'm using. A machine can't complain about that. A machine can use items, and the man complains to the machine, but the machine does not listen to the man, because it's just a machine. It can't hear. The machine can't complain about how I took out his slacking. 1, because it was totally a legitimate way, and 2, it's a machine. It does not have the AI to do that, unless the programmers specifically script it into the game. But that wouldn't be the machine's true feelings. That would just be what the developers wanted the machine to say. Wow, I'm just realizing how harsh I'm being. Especially considering how a lot of story elements in games are made from AIs, and yet I can acknowledge them as characters, not just as AI. Then again, I guess I'm focusing more on the battling itself, not the character of Evis. Then again, Evis isn't really a character I would consider a developed character. We see him once in the game, he acts like a happy old jolly mayor, and he never comes back. Until plot twist, he was the bad guy all along. And I can see why people would argue that makes him a worse antagonist than the one in XD. Oh, by the way, I figured I would interrupt this message for a public service announcement. That's the Slowking that just came out into the field. That's the second Pokemon that no skill swap I was referring to. So if that Slowking is ever on the field with the Slacking, bad times will happen. It's a good idea to take out either the Slacking or the Slowking the second it comes out, whichever comes out first. And with that public service announcement out of the way, I will refer the commentary to a different topic. Like, this is why Gang is a mixed attacker, because we want the psychic moves on our team. And I'm so glad I got that Sunny Day up, because now I don't have to worry about Slacking's water moves, especially if Water Pulse of all things is the best it has. Granted, I'm not looking down on Water Pulse, because Water Pulse is not too bad, considering its side effect of confusion. Then again, it is inferior to Skull, but alas, Skull did not exist in this generation, so Water Pulse is your best bet for a move of a pretty nasty side effect. You just don't want to go out for flat out power, something like Surf or Hydro Pump. I think Code Red has done his job here. We got the Sun. There's not really any Pokemon that Code Red can do a significant amount of damage to, especially when we could bring in a Pokemon that does super effective damage to a Pokemon like, Slacking. And with this, all but one of Eva's Pokemon remain. Before we see that, we're just going to rack in a little bit of the glory of all the battles we've had before, including a level up with Yang. I'm a little surprised, actually, that Yang's becoming a bit overpowered. I guess it's just so easy to have it in early on for the high jump kicks on the normal types. So that might be why Yang got more powerful than all the other Pokemon on the team. And yes, I'll address the elephant in the room, which is in the form of Tyranitar. That joke would work better if it was an actual elephant, but hey, at least I'm addressing it. The Tyranitar does have this Sandstorm ability, which is gonna suck if you have no weather moves to put up to counteract it. Because that Sandstorm is gonna be hurting everyone except for that Tyranitar or your own Rock, Steel, Ground types. And for something I've been meaning to address for a long time. Yes, that icon is hovering over the Master Ball. A lot has changed since my Pokemon XD LP several years ago. The first LP I ever did. Number 1, the viewers taught me an important lesson from that Pokemon XD LP. Don't be a hero. Just use the Master Ball. The episode where I got to Shadow Lugia wasn't exactly the highest point in my life. Many of those viewers knows a teensy little issue that they addressed to me in the nicest way they possibly could. I had a Master Ball and I did not use it on Shadow Lugia, one of the final Shadow Pokemon of that game. Well, fear no more, YouTube. I've heard your cries. Cries of pain that include, "You're stupid, you didn't use your Master Ball!" And "You idiot, you had your Master Ball!" And "Use the Master Ball next time!" And "Why didn't you use the Master Ball?" And the two of you who actually thought it was a fun idea that I didn't use my Master Ball and actually try to challenge myself. Well, worry no more. That's the strongest Pokemon we'll be snagging in Pokemon Colosseum. And I used my Master Ball on it. I know I was not in the right with that video, doing silly things like banning comments on that video to avoid the same repetition complaints over and over. But I hope I've righted the wrong that I did that day in Pokemon XD through this action. Hope I all made your days a lot better now. And besides, it wasn't like I would be able to transfer my Master Ball. Stupid 5th gen, not transferring items your Pokemon are holding, and stupid 6th gen of continuing the stupid trend, so I can't get my easy Lucky Egg over to the 6th generation. So Mr. Slowking over here is all that remains. Once we defeat that, there will be nothing between us and arresting all of Cipher for all their evil fitting doings. Not like they'll come back in like, I don't know, 3 or 5 years and repeat the whole pattern again. My team is looking a little weak, but then again, it's just one Pokemon left. And I got the one Pokemon that I need type-wise. I got the Dark type to combat the Psychic type. Might be able to revive Puffluck, but it's not needed at this point. Just do the best I can with Yang while it's out, and just keep using Fang Attack, and eventually the Slowking will go down. Cause that was pretty impressive damage for a not very effective move. And it'll be enough for Dark Knight to be able to finish off the job, defeat the Slacking, save the princess, and the world. Even though if there was a princess in this game, we saved her way back in episode 1. So we mostly just saved the world. Somehow. Somehow this evil organization was going to be taking over the world by hosting Pokemon battles on top of this tower. Yes, even your ultimate Pokemon has been snagged, sir. And I totally didn't cheat it whatsoever. Peer pressure made me do it. By which I mean I didn't do anything, but if I did, peer pressure made me do it. Not like that would work against the cops, but this isn't the cop I'm talking about the evil head guy who's gonna go to jail, so his opinion doesn't matter. Cipher is finished, good sir. Do you feel better, terrible, or all of the above? Even old man not Ash Ketchum but Egon is here. And look, he brought his not Ash Ketchum's Pikachu. That says Pikachu instead of Biga. Pikachu! Blast you, don't forget what you've done. Oh, I like to forget, but considering other things I've wanted to forget, but never did, I get the feeling I won't forget you. Oh, what are you talking about next time, good sir? It's over. Oh my gosh, he has a helicopter that somehow flies on its own. Me again? No, you're not getting away that easy. I don't know how I'm gonna stop a flying helicopter that flies on its own, but there's gotta be a way somehow. Deus Machina time! Bow! Your plan! I think your plan has an easy-teasy problem when it comes to making the comeback. You kinda just lost your automatic flying helicopter. And you're kinda going to jail. I think your plans are over, but that's just me. What do I know? What is that up in the sky, Rue? It's not like we have an evil organization syndicate right in front of us under arrest. Oh my gosh, it's Ho-Ho! That is totally worth being distracted over. I mean, really guys, back when this game came out, that was something worth being distracted over. Freaking Ho-Ho! Can't transfer it from your silly second gen. Fire Red, Leaf Green might have just came out, so no one was even imagining the Heart Gold and the Soul Silver games yet. So this is Ho-Ho's own awesome sight coming here. Of course, good old Ho-Ho wouldn't let the criminals get away free, not when they've done something so horrible as create shadow Pokemon. Though that reminds me, where has Ho-Ho been this entire game if that's the case? Oh well, I'm sure Ho-Ho was busy with something. It's finally over. Lots of challenges, high points and low points, both in-game and with the LP itself. But at long last, everything has been resolved. We were strong, we answered a call, and we were cool. Rui said so herself. Well, about me, but I'm sure you guys were cool as well. Apparently the bird is so close! It's a bird watcher's dream come true. Having a gigantic Ho-Ho bird, a phoenix probably, being so close to us. Such a blessing. It's saying thank you for being so awesome and being in this game. Even though it does not look that close at all, and it's just the camera pan that makes it look close. And even then, it's not really that close. I was kind of hoping for a closer close-up with how much they were emphasizing how close things were. But that is the end of the game. That is the end of Pokemon Colosseum. There is a post-game with more Shadow Pokemon to snag, but screw those Shadow Pokemon. They're gonna be left unsnagged forever. Half true. I was building this up and now I have the chance to explain myself. Pokemon Colosseum, it has high points and its low points. Then again, it was right in between the transition of finishing college to being out of college that I've done this LP. While LP in Pokemon Colosseum, I had to make the decision to can Jacket Yellow as well. And that was a project I was really looking forward to. So I do admit that I spent a lot of time blaming this LP for why I'm not doing Jacket Yellow. So in the end, I can't really blame this game for why I didn't enjoy this LP as much as I did others. And I am glad and proud I did not decide to cancel Pokemon Colosseum. Colosseum wasn't my favorite game to do for the channel, but being able to use the Pokemon I did more than make up for the flaws of this game. No regrets in finishing up this project. However, I'm really looking forward to moving on to a new project, so I'm not going to worry about the post-game of Pokemon Colosseum for now. Someday in the long distance future, if I feel like coming back to Pokemon Colosseum, we will come back to Pokemon Colosseum, and we'll finish the post-game then. This is technically not the finale of the LP, because I do have one more video I want to do for you guys before officially closing off Pokemon Colosseum, but it's mostly just wrapping up a few things that I could have done before going into Regum Tower. You'll see then. I think Pokemon Colosseum was one of those games I really enjoyed as a kid, especially before Pokemon XD came out. When Pokemon XD was released, everything I liked about Colosseum was in that game, minus all the stuff I don't like about Colosseum. Nothing else, I'm feeling really good recording the commentary for this episode, so I'm glad I'm able to end this series off on a good note. As for what's going to be going on the channel now that Colosseum's done, well, I do want to visit Pokemon again, but it won't be right away. I don't even know exactly when it's going to be, because I did have a Pokemon project in mind, but I'm not sure if I wanted to be the next project or a future project, but you do know that Pokemon's in the future. Well, the first reel of Sly Cooper will be continuing on, but assuming I don't decide to give this Colosseum slot to Sly Cooper, you will be seeing bonus episodes very soon. I'm going to be having bonus episodes from past playthroughs like Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, Sonic Colors, and if I'm lucky, skilled, and dedicated enough to grind, Golden Sun the Lost Age might at last get its final bonus episode. The boss of all bosses in this series. So I know that'll be fun to record, edit, and upload, and I hope you all enjoy those videos when they come out. In the meantime, this has been Jackie K, and next time we have some purifications to make, including finally using our time flutes. And then I am done. See you all then. I'm not quite sure if it be too much of a spoiler for you all, but he does have a Slaking. Well, Jody is a Slaking is out in the field right now. I meant he had a Slowking. Everything I liked about Colosseum was in that game, and a whole lot of less stuff that I don't like about Colosseum, because that's a perfectly understandable and done in perfect Englishly done sentence. And if I'm lucky, skilled, and dedicated enough to grind, we'll have the final battle of final battles in Pokemon Colosseum Sun. Fire Red, Leaf Green might have just came out, so no one was even imagining the Heart Gold and the Soul Silver games yet. So this Ho-Ho's an awesome sight coming here. And Shadow Lugia, of course, would not let the Shadow Pokemon Evil Organization man get away after doing all horrible things like creating Shadow Pokemon. Then again, where was he this entire game up to now? Who cares? This is a Deus Ex Machina.